In this episode, we are ranking the most powerful Muslim countries. What's happening, everybody? My name is Leroy Kenton, and welcome back to FTD Facts. Now, we're adding this episode to our 10 Facts episode series, and for this episode, to determine the power of each country, I looked specifically at military power. I didn't factor in any international alliances that these countries may have or their economic power. So let's just get into this list. Starting at number 10, we have the nation of Iraq. Iraq has dropped a lot of its military spending recently, and now the country's military has made significant gains in recent years in battles against enemy militants. They have been helped and assisted by the United States as well as other Western powers, and also they've received a lot of military advice from Iran's Al-Quds Brigade. Since the implementation of the United States-Iraq Status of Forces Agreement back on January 1st, 2009, the Iraqi military, as well as the forces of the Ministry of Interior, are responsible for providing security as well as upholding law in all of Iraq. Their total military personnel sit at 165,000, and they have a defense budget of $1.73 billion. The nation of Bangladesh comes in at number 9. So Bangladesh's defense budget, it actually accounts for about 6% of the entire national budget. And Bangladesh is located between 3 nuclear states. Now, they share a 4,156 border with India, as well as they're close to China and Pakistan. And its military also helps to maintain internal security and looking after both national security and stability. As well as they have to attend to international disaster relief through the UN and also UN peacekeeping missions. So they keep busy, they have to constantly be on their toes. They never know what's going to happen, especially in their location. Now, over the past decade, Bangladesh has continued to expand its military arsenal by expanding ammunition manufacturing, as well as purchasing fighter aircraft, and even added some submarines. Now, their total military personnel sit at 160,000, and they have a defense budget of $3.8 billion. Number 8 brings us Malaysia. While Malaysia has never really fought in a conventional conflict before, it does have a pretty modern military, and it balances its strategic posture between naval strength, technological modernization, as well as their air superiority. Now, Malaysia is in dispute with China's claim over the South China Sea, as well as it's an active member of UN peacekeeping forces. Now, while they struggle with financial limitations as well as currency instability, its military does continue to grow and modernize surprisingly. It does face a lot of challenges of matching assets that are incompatible with the domestic and international threats that they face. Nevertheless, they have a pretty large military force with the total military personnel sitting at 410,000, but their defense budget is just $4 billion. Algeria comes in at number 7. Algeria is the largest Arab country by size, and it has invested steadily in its military force ever since it achieved independence. The Algerian forces have been on active footing since its founding, first fighting for independence, a civil war dubbed the Black Decade, followed by 2 more decades of protecting its major borders. Now, it's also the only country outside of China that has obtained the Russian S-400 missile system, and it's one of the best air defense systems ever made. Now, Algeria has some troubling borders with neighbors including Libya as well as Mali, and actively supports the Polisario Front, which seeks the independence of the disputed territory of Western Sahara from the country of Morocco. They have 280,000 total military personnel at their disposal, and they fund everything with a $13 billion defense budget. Moving on now to the nation at number 6, we have Saudi Arabia. Now, the Saudi Arabian military is one of the best armed forces in the region. Now, in past years, it has fought a very intense war with Yemen. And while Yemen had been like a testing ground for Saudi Arabia's military, this long and drawn out war has actually drawn significant international condemnation over the heavy human toll that it took, as well as humanitarian concerns over famine and disease in the country. They have drastically increased their military personnel to 803,000, and their defense budget is a whopping $67.6 billion. Okay, so we made it to the halfway mark in this episode. We got 5 more countries to take a look at, but before we continue, be sure to leave a like on this episode if you're enjoying it so far. It also lets me know what FTD Facts episodes you want to see, so leave a thumbs up. And if this is your first time here to FTD Facts, also hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. You'll join the FTD Facts family, and you get to be notified of our daily episodes. Now, with that said, let's move on to the nation at number 5, Indonesia. With Indonesia set to become the world's 4th largest economy by the year 2050, its military continues to grow in leaps and bounds. Its manpower, economy, and political clout are enough to ensure internal stability as well as growth as it continues to pursue an aggressive military diversification strategy. Now, recently, it applied an anti-access area denial, or A2AD, strategy, giving it even stronger leverage over its neighbors. And Indonesia's modernization capabilities may be the precursor to larger regional ambitions in the future. So we just gotta wait and see as this nation continues to expand. Their military personnel sit at 800,000 and their defense budget, $7.6 billion. But that's more than likely gonna increase in the next year. Pakistan comes in at number 4. So the Pakistan military is very robust, very diverse, and it has a long-standing military tradition. In recent years, though, it has leveraged stronger engagement with Saudi Arabia and China to modernize its forces with heavy military technology exchange and weapons development. Now, operationally, Pakistan has one of the largest armies in the entire region. And they're heavily supported by their powerful intelligence service, and they're fueled by a drive to develop their defense industry capacities and manufacturing modern firearms and ammunition. It is also one of the few countries in the region with nuclear capabilities. Now, the Arms Control Association puts Pakistan's nuclear stockpile at about 140 weapons, and that ranks it number 6 in the world when it comes to nuclear weapons. Their total military personnel are 1,204,000, and they have a defense budget at $11.4 billion. Lucky number 3, that goes to Iran. Iran has been able to effectively manage large militias while aligning them with its overall military posture through tried and tested embedded officers and leadership. Now, over years of sanction, Iran developed a significant national defense industry, and it's made major progress towards becoming a nuclear state. Some believe that it already is a nuclear state. Its armed forces are also viewed as being very strong in asymmetric warfare. Iran has also provided extensive technical and military support to the Assad regime in Syria. And with the whole feuding that has developed with the United States, especially at the start of 2020, it looks like Iran is going to be investing a lot more in their military. While currently their total military personnel sit at 873,000 and their defense budget is $19.6 billion. Turkey comes in at number 2. So Turkey's armed forces have been on an active footing for a number of years. On top of its heavy presence over in Syria, Turkey has really developed a strong defense industry, manufacturing autonomous armed drones, as well as state-of-the-art cruise missiles and some amazing indigenous battle tanks, as well as battle-tested attack helicopters. Now, while it ranks as one of the strongest military forces in the Muslim world, as well as the Middle East, so this is why it ranks at number 2 on this list. Turkey has also established large forward operating bases in Qatar and Somalia, expanding its geopolitical reach and force projection capacity. Their total military personnel sit at 735,000 and their defense budget is $19 billion. Unfortunately for them, they did bump down from number 1 to number 2. And we have a new number 1. It's Egypt. Egypt recently bumped to number 1 spot in terms of being the most powerful Muslim nation. And I mean, we saw this coming if you were monitoring Egypt's history, because with the rise of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, the Egyptian military has been given free rein to expand and embed itself in nearly every aspect of Egyptian society, on top of a larger defense budget that they were given, as well as tax exemptions and lucrative private contracts. Now, the Egyptian military has made major progress in modernizing its military since Sisi took power, with gradual procurements of new state-of-the-art weaponry, revamped supply chains, as well as more attention given to its navy. And we can see this in their new figures because their total military personnel sit at 920,000 and they have a defense budget of $11.2 billion. That jumped up from $4.4 billion in past years. Alright guys, so that's it for this episode on the 10 most powerful Muslim countries in the world. This is all according to the latest numbers. Be sure to leave your thoughts and comments about anything that I shared in this episode down below. Also, if you have any future suggestions for new FTD Facts videos, let me know those as well. Now, before you guys head out, my social media links are below in the video description section, so you can follow me, shoot me a message over there. I'm active, especially on Instagram. Other than that, I'm gonna get out of here, but I'll leave you with a recommended video coming up at the end screen, so check it out to keep on learning something new. We post episodes daily, so yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.